Hey guys, Ben Ling here, Altitude Capitalist. It's my view that vintage sports cards, specifically those produced between World War II era and 1970, it's my view that these are no longer investable assets. And I want to do a response video to a video done by Midlife Sports Cards at the beginning of the year, where he talks about the five most undervalued vintage rookie cards in his opinion. And this isn't to beat this guy over the head with. He never said run out and buy these cards, but really it's this video that he produced is really a good data point for a spot in time where some of these cards were perceived as a good deal. What we're going to see, obviously, is many of these cards are taking a massive leg down. I believe these prices will continue to fall, and I'll get into some of the factors that I think will contribute to that at the end of the video here. But let's kick this off with the first player from Midlife Sports Cards video, and that is Frank Robinson. So Frank Robinson rookie card, 1957 Topps. This sold on January 5th for $355. And let's take a look at what that is selling for now. With the most recent eBay sales for the Frank Robinson rookie. So we've got $270, $370, $267, and we can't really tell what that is. That was the best offer that was accepted. But nice one for $370, but these two for around $270 is about $80 off the prices back in January. That's a big price difference, both in dollar terms and in percentage decrease from what these were trading at back in January. So Frank Robinson not doing too well over the past 8 months or so. Now let's check out the second player that was featured in this interesting video. That was Warren Spahn. 48 Bowman Warren Spahn, $350. Oh, I think that the guy from Midlife Sports Cards does a great job. He kind of makes this a game. Like, he shows a bunch of stats, and he doesn't show the player until he reveals a bunch of stats. So you can kind of try to guess who they were. I guessed 4 out of the 5. I didn't get the Killebrew. But Warren Spahn, obviously the best left-hander of all time. One of the strongest pitchers in his generation. His stats are actually suppressed by the fact that he was in World War II for 3 years. And he wasn't able to start in the majors, so he was like 25 years old. But he compiled an incredible record. And back in November of 2022, his rookie card was $350. So here, about 10 months later, let's check and see how these Warren Spahn rookies are trading on eBay. Okay, 276, 355, 378, 375. So these are holding up. The ones that sold in June are holding up, as well as July. Well, the July one is down about $100. So, these here on the right are encouraging. The most recent sale at 276, definitely not encouraging for the Warren Spahn rookie card. The next player that Midlife Sports Cards features is Steve Carlton, another pitcher. And here we go on January 2nd. Steve Carlton's rookie card sold for $260.55. So let's check out where that card is in August of 2023. So this is a PSA 6. He focused all on collector grades. Everything that we're showing here is the same grade that was sold back at the beginning of the year. People call collector grade a grade that corresponds with the decade that the card was produced. So, for example, this was produced in 1965. This is a PSA 6. 65 starts with 6. PSA 6. That's how we came to this. But those were trading at $260. Here, 234, 227, and 222. These were all sold in the month of July. So at least 10%, 10% down on the Steve Carlton rookie. And it's important to remember, if you're buying these as like an investment to resell, you're going to have to buy at a price point that's about 20% below what you hope to sell it just to break even. When you think about your sales tax and your shipping when you buy it, and then your final value fees and your e-payment fees when you sell it, that could easily be 20% on eBay, especially in some of these higher sales tax states that have sales tax rates up in the range of 10%. So something else you really got to consider if you're trying to make money on this stuff, which I do not recommend. Next is Harman Killebrew. Let's see what Harman Killebrew rookie cards were selling for back at the beginning of the year. Okay, $375 on January 4th for the PSA 5. Great looking card. I love this 1955 top set. Let's see what the Killebrew cards are trading for now. $147. Okay, we can't count this one. There's a qualifier on this. It will be hard for you guys to see, but I can see it. This PSA 5 is $295, $265, and $279. That's compared to $375. I mean, this is almost $100 off. Big price difference in dollar terms and percentage terms for this great looking Harman Killebrew 1955 Topps rookie card. Not looking good for that. And the final player that Midlife Sports Card featured was Bob Gibson, one of the most dominating pitchers of the 1960s. So his card was $710, 1959 Topps. And let's see what the Gibson's trading for now. $669, $710, $799. This 480 is no good because there's a qualifier on that. Gibson's kind of held its value. The most recent sale is obviously a bit less, but Gibson's kind of held its value. But overall, you know, these rookie cards that were deemed a great value at the beginning of the year have continued to lose value. I think these will continue to lose value throughout the rest of this year, into next year, and into the foreseeable future. And a lot has been talked about kind of the macroeconomic impact of like people getting free money from the COVID panic and burning it on sports cards. I don't want to talk about that. I really want to talk about kind of the demographic trends and trends in consumer behavior that are headwinds to these cards really ever recovering their value. First point is people are very biased towards purchasing players that they saw play. It's a nostalgic effect. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certainly folks who appreciate players who played long before their time. But for the most part, collectors really appreciate having cards of players that they watch play. Warren Spahn, for example, you know, he was from the World War II generation. My last grandfather died in 2019. There are very few people left today who actually watched Warren Spahn play and have that nostalgic feeling of going out and buying a Warren Spahn card to have in their collection. When you think about Frank Robinson, Harman Killebrew, and Bob Gibson, they played in front of my parents' generation. My dad's a baby boomer. He's in his early 70s. People in their early 70s are kind of in the phase of life where they're getting rid of stuff. They're not acquiring new stuff and starting new collections. Like those guys who won a Bob Gibson rookie card, a lot of them already have it. So that's problematic as well. And you can kind of see the other side in the more modern cards like Ken Griffey Jr.'s, Kirby Puckett's, guys who played when I was a kid. You look at Gen Xers and millennials, all of a sudden there's a resurgence in these like Bo Jackson cards, for example. And that makes sense because people in our age cohort have a lot of disposable income right now at this point in their lives. So the demographic trends are really trending against these cards from like the World War II era to around 1970 because of the aging population. Another thing is there's a general lower interest in sports cards. And people made a big deal about the National last month being the most well-attended National ever. Well, you have to really look at that through the lens of there are very few sports card shows now compared to like when I was a kid. Growing up in Baltimore, every weekend there was a couple sports card shows to go to. You may go a couple months without having a sports card show in Baltimore now. So people who are interested in attending sports card shows, they have fewer and fewer that they want to go to. So an event like the National obviously is going to draw a lot of people just because there's not a lot of shows to attend. And that's because there's not a lot of demand for sports card shows, quite frankly. And I think the biggest problem is this last thing that I'll mention. And that's the kids today, they have no interest in baseball cards. My son plays baseball, plays tackle football. He could not care less about collecting sports cards. His teammates could not care less about collecting sports cards. They like Pokemon stuff. They like playing Roblox and certain video games. But these kids are not getting up every morning like I did, checking the paper or the internet now to see who did what in the games the night before and who are the statistical leaders in the American League and the National League in every meaningful category. They do not care. And 20 years from now, when these kids have a bunch of disposable income, they're not going to be looking back on sports cards as something that, brings them happiness or fond memories of their childhood they want to buy. They're just not going to be interested in them. So, if you're buying these vintage baseball cards because you like them, great. I like them. I buy them. But we're not going to make any money on these things. So please keep that in mind of these major headwinds that are facing this particular asset class, and buy the things you like and don't expect to make a penny. Thanks.